Hello, everybody. It's Marianne Bailey with the Hip Senior Podcast, Book Edition. Today, I am here with Cheryl Ilov, and we are talking about her book, Forever Fit and Flexible. Cheryl, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Forever Fit and Flexible. So, tell us a little bit about you and what made you want to write this book?
Okie doke. I call myself a recovering physical therapist.
Okay.
And actually, I do have my master's degree in PT. I had my own private practice for 18 years. And basically, that is part of why I wrote the book Forever Fit and Flexible. But we would have to go backwards in time to my first career. I was actually a respiratory therapist. So I have an extensive background in the Western medical field. And when I was in my 30s, my mid 30s, I ended up with a little twinge in my low back. And I did what most people do. I just ignored it, thinking it would go away. So eventually, that little twinge turned into incredible, excruciating low back pain. And it just kept getting worse and worse. I went to the doctors. I did everything that they told me to do. That this pain, they couldn't decide what was causing it, but it just kept getting worse and worse until I was actually completely incapacitated and I was a chronic pain patient. So that was my life for 2.5 years. I lived the life of a chronic pain patient. I went to all the therapy that they sent me to. I took all the medications that they recommended and that they prescribed for me. I did everything I was told to do. But instead of getting better, I just kept getting worse. And I was spiraling down to a point where I really couldn't work full time anymore. Forget about going to ballet class, which was my way of staying in shape. I couldn't ski anymore. I couldn't do anything. And it wasn't until one of my doctors told me that I could never do my laundry and my grocery shopping all in the same day because the arthritis in my spine was so severe that I would end up being bedridden.
Oh, goodness.
And then I just looked at her and I said, it's like it didn't compute. I didn't really understand what she was saying. And I looked at her and I says, you don't understand. I'm going to go back to ballet class. And she laughed in my face
Yeah.
and said, oh no, you don't understand. You are never going to have the life that you had before or the life that you wanted. You are a chronic pain patient. You will always have chronic pain. You will never be able to recover from this. But don't worry, we'll take care of you. And I'm just sitting there trying to compute what the heck she was saying. And then she told me that I should start applying for disability because I was going to need it. I was 36 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty traumatizing. I went home, I hit rock bottom, and finally, a few days later, it was one of those mental head smacking moments. It's, you know what? I need to figure this out for myself. They're obviously not making me any better. They're making me worse. And I've got to change this track somehow. So I did something very bold. I just fired my entire medical team. I stopped taking the medication, all the medications they had me on, muscle relaxers, anti-inflammatories, pain medication. I stopped doing all of the, I can say it because I'm a PT now, stupid exercises and stretches that the therapists were having me do because they weren't helping. So I just stopped everything cold turkey and I decided to figure it out on my own. So I knew enough about movement because I had studied Pilates at that point for, I had years, at least 12 years of studying Pilates just for my own benefit. And I was a dancer. So I knew movement. So what I did was I would get down on the floor every day and I would take some of those Pilates exercises and dissect them into tiny little pieces and do very gentle movement on the floor and figure out what made me feel better, what made me feel worse. So I was really trying to tune into the movements I was doing and the sensations and the information that my body was sending me. Keep in mind, I had no idea what I was doing, but it was like, I have to do something different than what I had been doing before. The only other thing I added was acupuncture, which was really going out on a limb for me because I was trained in that Western medical mindset that it was like, oh, acupuncture, who would do something like that? And even when I was so desperate, I went to my first appointment. I wanted to wear a disguise. I didn't want people to see me because I thought, how embarrassing if somebody saw me that I was going to an acupuncturist. but it really helped. It helped calm down my nervous system. It helped with some of the pain management. And in about 8 or 9 months, I was completely pain free.
Wow.
And it was like, oh my gosh, if I had listened to the experts telling me I would never get better, where would I be right now? That was 30 years ago. So after I went through that transition, it launched me on this incredible journey of exploration, self education, health and healing. I ended up going back to school, getting my master's degree in physical therapy. Discovered when I graduated, I absolutely hated what I was doing. I couldn't stand it. And then I got another one of those head smacking moments. It's wait a minute, I could go out on my own and I could open up my own practice and do physical therapy the way I want to do it. So I didn't go the traditional route. So I realized with my background as a physical therapist now, as a dancer, as a Pilates instructor, because after I finished PT school, I went and took 2 different professional programs. And I thought I can just do that. So that's what I did. I opened up my own physical therapy practice and I was off and running. And most of the clients, I had clients, I did not have patients. So most of the clients that came to me, a lot of them had the same story that I had, the same type of background. This is it. You're never going to get any better. Just we'll take care of you. Just sit down. Don't do anything. Apply for disability. And I would tell my clients, I am not going to fix you. I am not going to heal you, but I'm going to teach you how to heal yourself. I'm going to give you the tools that you can use to empower yourself to understand your body, how you're moving, how to move without pain, how to move better, how to get out of this syndrome that you're in. And it worked actually quite well. And then I thought, I wish I could reach a wider audience because it's really basically pretty simple. It is complicated, but it's not. It's really basically simple. So I thought if I could put the techniques and the philosophies into a book, I could reach a lot more people. So that's basically what I did.
Nice. So if you could pick and choose, like, who are your ideal readers for this book?
I think my ideal readers are people who are looking to the future. Maybe they're in their 40s and 50s, and they're hearing that message of, oh, it's all downhill from here. You're going to lose function, the aches and pains you're going to have, your joints are going to start disintegrating, your spine is going to start shrinking. People who are proactive and want to take the steps so that they can be healthy and active and fit and flexible for the rest of their lives in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. It is possible.
Because we are living that much older. But you know what? Even people that are hearing their family members with these same aches and pains or those diagnoses and stuff, buying it for them as gifts or reading it themselves for themselves and passing it on as a gift. Or, like I said, I think, you know, as we move into the second half of the year coming up and stuff, planning for what can be great gifts for people to help keep them healthy and moving forward in life. I know that I wish somebody had bought a book like this for me 20 years ago, that I had started learning some of the techniques that you're talking about when I was younger and paid more attention
Mhm.
to that. Now that I'm in my 50s, I'm paying attention, and I really wish I had paid attention earlier.
The good news is it's never too late to start. You can always change the trajectory. It's really not that hard to do.
That's what I love about you. I love your positivity about health and wellness and exercise. Okay. So they read your book, they put it down, they have one thought. What is that one thought about your book that you hope they take away with it?
I would think the one thought is, oh my gosh, they're lying to us. It is possible to have, I don't want to say ageless, graceful aging and
Yeah.
an ageless body and that mind body connection. It's wow, I can do this.
And learning how to be your own advocate, right?
Absolutely. And the more you learn about your body, then when you do go to a doctor for consultation or whatever, you're empowered with knowledge because you understand your body, what's going on a lot better than if you would just walk in and say, oh my gosh, I'm having all this pain, help me. Because
Right.
then you're basically handing over your own authority to somebody else who doesn't know you that and doesn't really have the time to get to know you, because physicians are under an awful lot of pressure to see their patients. They don't have a lot of time to spend with them. So you really have to be your own diagnostician and your own advocate. And it makes for a much more successful relationship with your physician or your caregiver, your provider.
All right. Cheryl Ilov, thank you so much for writing this book. Guys, just go hit the purchase button. Just do it. You've heard it from her herself. Just learn to be your own advocate. Cheryl, thank you so much for writing Forever Fit and Flexible. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks. Bye.